The consensus is that Matt Stafford will be the first pick taken in this year's draft. But is he really that much better, or better at all, than Mark Sanchez? Let's figure that out. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com, and glad to have NFL.com's Pat Kirwan and CBS's Phil Simms, a guy who knows.
He's tanned.
You know what? When he's in Florida all this time, and it just kind of sticks onto him. Let's talk about these two guys. And Mark Sanchez, he's got a tan being out there in LA. Matt Stafford, well, maybe he should have a better tan than he actually does. But when you look at these two quarterbacks, guys, and especially Phil, when you've broken them down on tape, do you really see Matt Stafford as being a better quarterback than Mark Sanchez?
To be real succinct, no, I don't. And, I go on just my limited knowledge, what I get my hands on and what I can watch and see. And to me, if I had to make the pick, I would, without hesitation, take Mark Sanchez from USC. More polished. He's opened my eyes up a lot about quarterbacks, how I'm going to look at them, how you should train them, and what they should be doing during the years. Yeah, there it is. And a guy that was under center, the energy that he has playing the position shows up on film. And Pat and I'm Jason, you've done it too. You watch film, it kind of makes everybody blend together. You can see his energy during the games when you watch it. And I'll have to say this, I was fortunate. I did see him in person, so I'm a little prejudiced. But what I saw in person, I think Pat knows me, I go in hating everybody. I hate them. Prove to me. And when it was over, I went, wow.
I know.
I was truly awestruck. I thought it was that impressive.
When I talked to you right after the workout, and what you said to me was, I wanted to stand up and applaud. Let's talk about his feet, because I think that's the first thing that you got captured by.
Yeah, well, it just shows you can create what you want. He's a good athlete, of course, but all the years of training and doing what he does on quarterbacking skills with his feet, that was the first thing I got when I watched the workout. I went, first off, his feet. When I watched him, I said, he must run a 4.5. Now, so he ran on what he run in the combine, 4.8 something. Yep. So that tells you who cares, because his footwork was that of a guy that could be really, really fast. And he was always in position to throw the ball correctly. And what I loved, he threw, I'd say 95% perfect spirals everywhere on the field. And most of the other thing that caught me is the effort that he put into it. Everything was full speed. And again, Pat, we've talked a lot over the years. How I had two quarterbacks last night I was working with, the New Jersey high school kids. Those poor kids. I just wore them out, because you got to do it with intensity, because you got to duplicate what you're going to do in the game. Everything I saw him do that day, I saw in the tapes when I watched him at USC. So you know how I feel about him.
So we see how you like Mark Sanchez. What is the admiration then with Matt Stafford?
Tremendous arm. It is special. It's like a wide receiver who can run a 4.25. You just go, wow. So it's there. I think he has an arm motion that's going to make him last in the NFL for a long time.
He looks like he can throw all day in a double session and not even need an ice pack.
And I think that's important, because when you can practice long, what's that going to do for you?
Going to get better.
You're going to get better. And most quarterbacks in this day and age, we got to count his throws. Count his throws. That is the biggest. So he can get better with all the repetitions you can give him. So there was a lot of things I liked about him. He overcame their offense down there. I didn't think it was a great pro training offense. Doesn't matter. Made the good throws. My mark against him would be he threw a lot of passes that I just thought got away from him. Weren't spirals.
That's where I was going to bring it to you, because I saw vertical routes to tight ends where it's a touchdown pass and he's sailing the ball over his head like he's not transferring his weight. I mean, it could be mechanical, it could be anticipation skills, but you see it when you watch him. And we're talking about the first pick in the draft. We'd watch him a lot different if we were talking second round.
Yeah, we would. And, but two, that's where I really wish, and I actually tried to go see him in person. Hell, it's like going to visit the president when you go to see these high draft picks. But I wanted to see it, to see how much has changed. And, of course, coaching can bring that around. If you got talent, you coach them and they adapt to it right away. That's kind of what I wanted to see. And, from what I heard, I didn't get to see it on tape either. I heard his workout for the Detroit Lions was spectacular. So, but, all the things that I like, they're just enough, what do you want to call them, little things that bother me that make me wonder if he is the first pick of the draft.
Both kids are under 6'3". You have a reaction to that? I mean, we know they're juniors and there's some liability there. What about the height for each guy?
Well, I always write that down when I do notes. The first thing, they both play tall. They stand tall. They stand every bit of the height they are, and they both can throw the ball at all levels. They can reach up high and throw it, so I don't think it's going to be a detriment to them all. And most of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL, 6'3", 6'4", there comes a time just to talk about Josh Freeman real quick, I just wonder, is he too big for the position? You know, there comes a point where you get too tall and it makes you a little slower in what you're doing because that's a lot of body to move around.
And we'll talk more about Josh Freeman. And you said when you talk about second-round quarterbacks, you judge them a little differently. We'll talk about those guys a little bit more as well on other segments here on CBSSports.com. Check out the other NFL draft segments here on the website. For Pat Kirwan and Phil Simms, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.